Ashlee Young here from iHeartRadio. We're in Austin, Texas at South by Southwest 2018. I have my co-host, this is DJ Yella from Austin, and we are interviewing the legendary Teddy Riley and Andre Harrell. How are y'all today?
Peace.
Wonderful.
That's amazing, team. If you don't know, they have a panel tonight about New Jack Swing. They are the pioneers of that sound. So let's talk about, before we go to the past, let's talk about now. So pop acts have been known to really put their spin on it. Like NSYNC did, Just Got Paid, New Kids on the Block. They had their little spin on New Jack Swing. How do you feel, let's go back. Why do you feel that that sound transcends time and audiences? Like it appeals to everybody?
Because it's very refreshing to the newcomers and new people on the block. The music of, and I'm saying everything as far as the music I did, Babyface, Diddy, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and even back to the rappers, W. Fresh, Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J. A lot of us did New Jack Swing, and it was always refreshing, and you still hear it today. Like you still hear Rump Shaker today. You still hear the Diddy records today, because that music was always refreshing. It's like hearing it new and all over again. You think back where you've been or where you at today, you hear that record in the clubs. You cannot not play New Jack Swing in a club. I don't care what you're playing. You could play trap, but you're gonna put something on from New Jack Swing or Uptown.
And I think it's infectious because the music of that time, especially New Jack Swing, was so celebratory. Like you went to the party, not to just party, you went to celebrate your life. And that music was the soundtrack to your celebration. And celebration just doesn't go out of style.
Exactly.
I'm glad you brought it up because on Drink Champs you said people don't dance in the club like they used to. What do you think it is about the New Jack Swing sound that just had people dancing in the club, and why don't they dance like that anymore?
I think that the New Jack Swing was so musical and it had horns in it, and whenever you have horns, that's the sound of God. It's rejoice.
Yeah.
So like you see people in church speaking in tongue when they hear a certain thing, that music was like a disco church feeling, and you celebrated. And as soon as you walked in the door, you started to step because the music was swinging. It had the groove. So as soon as you come in, you might have been walking, but as soon as you hear the music, you're moving like this. So it takes you right from the bar, right to the dance floor, right in step the whole time. Where the music now, you got to dab to it. It's a little different.
Yeah.
It don't have the same swing groove. It's not like couple music. It's like singular music. Like when you hear people dance, when you look at people dance to it, they don't necessarily look like they dancing together. They look like they compete.
Another thing to add on to what Andre was saying is it's a difference between apples and oranges. You have, and I'm talking about as far as the dimension of the music. The New Jack Swing was three-dimensional. The music of today is one-dimensional. It's one way. That's why the Bruno Mars and Weeknd and Robin Thicke, they play music. Somebody asked me, what do you think is missing from the music of today? And I said, music. Music. You know, the music of today don't have enough to take people like this. That's what New Jack Swing did. At the end of the song, you were all the way up here. And that's what Bruno is doing right now from That's What I Like. When you hear that song, it starts off fresh, you know. Da, 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 da. At the end, he's all the way up here. And you hear that high note. You don't hear the high notes no more. Everything is like this. That song don't take you nowhere at the end. And that's what I tell all the different artists. Escalate the song. Take it to the top.
He's right.
Sky's the limit.
Whether they escalate it through their vocal or their background, there's not a lot of that anymore, or through the use of horns or blasts. You don't hear it the same way. It's like a minimum groove that you locked in, and it's more like a vibe than a celebration. There's a big difference. A vibe is okay, it's cool. A celebration, oh, that was the shit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this also. the one thing that Andre used to always tell me to do is like, yo, you do them drops on there. I said, man, I only got 10 fingers, so I need everybody. Remember, we used to have everybody know, you take that side, and Hemi, you take that side. We are ready, 1, 2, 3. Now. And that's what made these records. You have to have, it's like animation. Animation is not going to move you unless there's some action. There's really no action in the music today unless you hear a Beyonce or Bruno Mars or Ariana Grande. They have drops because the Mike Wills and the producers who became seasoned, they know, wow, Teddy did this, Eddie F did that, Diddy did this, and we had drops, and that's why you hear drops in their records. The Weeknd and Robin, these guys know, and they go back like me. I'm still pulling from my catalog.
Yeah.
I'm still pulling from it.
I'm glad you guys brought that up, that you do see the difference in music from back then and today, because even though you guys are here for New Jack Swing, you are both very instrumental in R&B. And right now, everyone claims they love 90s R&B. They want to hear it in the club, but it's different from the R&B that's out today. It's more like a trap R&B.
Yes.
It's more like it's not a don't leave me girl, it's like let me cheat on you girl kind of R&B.
That's romance, you're right.
That's romance. How do you feel about the factions that R&B have divided into? Do you feel like it lost its soul, or?
I wouldn't say that, because everyone have a soul, and everyone have a different soul, and it's their way of doing their soul. If you want to say, yeah, they lost the uptown soul, or they lost the New York soul of music, because that's where it started. That's where New Jack Swing started. That's where a lot of our legends who I follow, like M2 I used to be in sessions with M2 just looking and, go to the store and get some water or whatever, tea or whatever, and just to learn everything I needed to learn from him, Kashif, Nile Rodgers, Michael Nevada Walden, Quincy Jones. I sat in those sessions, Kool and the Gang, when they were doing Celebration and Ladies Night. They sitting there 8 hours tuning drums, get the keyboard sound, the piano, tuning that. These are the things that cats need to know.
And I tell you, one of the different things about soul then and soul now. Soul used to be multiple cats playing music together at the same time. So you actually had not just more instruments, you had 5 syncopated souls.
Yes. And rhythms.
5 syncopated souls were doing the same drive at the same time, and it felt like it was a multiplication of not just sound, but of spirit.
Big example, James Brown. Every session he's done have been very soulful because you had everybody with their different rhythms, and
everything was a drum.
Yeah, everything was
the guitar
off the drums.
Just a drum.
Yeah, everything was that rhythm, and everybody was doing it different. You had Maceo doing something else, and you had Boosie on the bass. He played a lot of James Brown sessions. A lot of people don't know. Everybody came in and just did what they did. So like with Dr. Dre, he had all the musicians, and they were all like, everybody had different things. That's why he had different records and everything.
His sound
was just like
full,
his sound
too.
was like so full, because he had the instrumentation. And that's what we're missing today.
Now, when it comes to like a group creating, why don't you think we see R&B groups today? Do you think like one could survive in today's climate?
I think one of the reasons you don't see. I think one of the reasons you don't see groups is because the songwriter and producer have to be like, I'm going to do the whole thing, and they become the artist, and they become the songwriter, and they become the group. And then when you have groups who have a songwriter or a hot producer, after a while the economics start to not make sense. He gets hot. A lot of people want to work with him. It interferes with his tour life. It creates conflict. It's real hard to maintain the group unless you have equal distribution of creative talents to keep us together.
He said it. I'm like, we're missing groups today because record companies are not into paying for 4 or 5 guys
True.
to go on tour support, different things like that. And you know, the big
Why buy
examples,
5 outfits when you can buy
you
one?
buy one, or 2 maybe. But that's been the thing, you know, recession of
But we love groups.
yeah.
Groups we love. The audience loves groups. So whoever can get that right, they should get that right and come on back with it.
And bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
Andre,
Mm-hmm.
we saw last year the big success of the New Edition story.
Mhm.
Huge success.
Mhm.
They're working on the Jodeci story.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to be surprised to learn in that film?
I'm not working on a Jodeci story, so I don't know what they're gonna tell you in a Jodeci story.
Compared to what the truth is, yeah.
So I don't know. There could be many surprises because Jodeci has a very surprising life. So I don't know what they're going to share. I haven't seen that script yet.
Do you know why they've waited so long to tell that story?
I don't think they waited a long time. I think that it just became timely. I think after New Edition's story, everything became timely. All the stories of the 90s are becoming more timely.
I think they were working on it before the New Edition story came out. Because I know the lady who actually was trying to do that story because she wanted to do a guy story. So they've been working on it, but when New Edition came out, it was like, now, let's step on it. So it's coming.
Now, Andre, one of your biggest contributions to the culture as a whole has been finding Sean Puff Daddy Combs and what he's given us for years and years and years. Do you see any executives behind the scenes or any young executives that might give that same legacy, not as big as Puff, but put their stamp right now?
I think to have the kind of success that Puff has, it has a lot to do with mentors. Like you got to have real serious record men who are teaching you and showing you and helping you have these relationships that make your game go from moving slow to moving really, really fast if the timing's right. The only person that I've seen who's had good mentors and seems to be taking advantage of it, he's a behind the scenes guy, was the A&R guy, he's the head of content at Apple, Larry Jackson. He seems like he's making it happen in big ways. He's got the background, the pedigree, and the drive to get things going on. That's the only one I see.
Teddy, who do you think is carrying the torch right now for R&B?
As a producer or as a...
Let's say as a producer.
Wow.
That's a good question.
That is. Because
there's really no real torch carrier.
Yeah.
It's just people who are having good moments.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like Daniel Caesar had a good moment. SZA's having a great moment with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's having a great moment with it.
I think that it's going to take time because it took me time. It took Dr. Dre time. We didn't just get over 700-800 songs in our catalog just overnight. It's not an overnight thing. You know, I have 1,000+ songs in my catalog. And that's till today.
I tell you who keeps it interesting. Pharrell keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
Pharrell keeps it interesting.
But he's a legend now. So he's a legend now. So we're talking
You
about
know,
like
Teddy Riley worked with Pharrell. Pharrell mentored under Teddy Riley.
Did you sign any already?
What's that?
Did you sign any already? Or did you find
Yes, I
it?
did.
Yeah.
I signed him first.
Now, is it true that that Pharrell assisted you on Rump Shaker?
He wrote my rap. That's it.
Wow.
He wrote my rap.
Check, baby, 1, 2, check.
He came up with the yiggity yes.
He still gets published. No. Well, thank you so much, Teddy Riley, Andre Harrell. They do have their panel today, South by Southwest. It is New Jack Swing, the Renaissance of Hip Hop. And from Austin, 2018, it is Ashlee Young and DJ Yella for iHeartRadio. Thank you.